Guys, we're gonna do a reading. I'm gonna do a reading. You do what you do. I'm not your mom. I have got a migraine out the wazoo. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, out the wazoo. Like, the lights are too loud. Anyhow, we're gonna do a little shuffle. We're gonna do a reading for you, because as soon as I started trying to do a reading for myself, it was like, you don't need answers. I was like, oh, well, I clearly sat down with the cards for a reason, so who does? Hopefully it's you, because if you don't, if it's not you, and I sat here while my brain spontaneously combusted. Alright, what do you need to know? I'm gonna be real upset. Ooh, okay. I mean, it's not bad. People always see my reactions and they're like, what? It's just a reaction. Calm down. Did I drop any more, yeah? No. Okay. Okay. Don't hate me. Okay? Okay? You might be feeling like there's a disconnect, there's a confusion on whether or not you're either coming out of a hermit mode or you should continue a hermit mode. The opportunity lies within both answers, right? So there's opportunity in either. It is ultimately your choice. It feels like there's a deep contemplative feeling, as in you're trying to know too much. Like, that's probably why my brain hurts. But it's like you're thinking so much that your brain is in like overdrive. For somebody that might be physically, like, my body's relaxed, but my brain feels like it's 117 billion pounds. You are physically going with the flow, but mentally you're trying to map everything out. Does that make sense? Where it's like, if something happens, you're gonna go with the flow. Thinking like, if you have to move, physically you'll go about packing your things and moving, unpacking, getting new, you know what I'm saying? Like, you physically, sure. But there's a disconnect between what you want and what you deserve. I also feel like there's a disconnect with what the world deserves. I feel like you feel, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, you feel spiritually in like servitude. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but like you feel like you have to do something for the world, or that like you're destined for it and you're like, but I can't escape it. It feels like there is, so you've got the Knight of Cups reversed and then a Knight of Pentacles upright. So it's this idea of like, I can't do what I want, but I will do what will provide. Followed by the Ten of Pentacles. It's like, it will bring you what you want. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, it's like you have to move and you really don't want to move. You really don't want to make new friends. You really don't want to, put your kids in new schools. But it's a $5 million home that's paid off fully, and the opportunity to have the funds to be able to take care of it. So you're like, it's not what I want. But then, because there's also, following that, there's the Nine of Swords reversed, which is like, I'm not upset about this, but it kind of feels like if I had a choice, I wouldn't make that choice. That's kind of the energy that's going on, is like, if you had a say so in how this went about, you wouldn't have agreed for it to go the way it did. But then there's also the High Priestess reversed, where it's like, you're just thinking too goddamn much. This is an accurate representation of how you must be feeling. Like, you might have, I don't want to say a disconnect, because it doesn't feel like disconnect. It feels like your life, and this will be a pattern that you'll notice, so take it as it resonates. Your life, you constantly live on like two planes, where it's like your mind is one place, where if you are spiritual, it would be like in the ether. Your mind is like consciousness, Shakti, kind of like you're mentally in a completely different, like literally place than your body is, if that makes sense. I feel called to share something that I experience, where it's like certain moments in your life feel like big moments. Like I really remember, like I'm getting really vividly my prom. And like I remember getting into the car and it felt like what I imagine like my wedding day would feel like. It's just so silly. But like that's what I imagine it would feel like. Like you're getting in there and you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this is happening, and da, 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 da. And it feels like a weird deja vu-esque kind of, but it really is, it feels like everything is in alignment. It's not deja vu, but it feels like this and this are now finally here. Where like you plan for prom, you get the dress, you do the makeup, you get the shoes, and then you like, and that colliding is just, the word that came to mind was catastrophic, but it's not negative. It just feels so intense. It's like it feels deja vu-y, but it's not deja vu. It's not like I've experienced this before, but it's like mentally, please understand. I hope you know what I'm saying, because there's no way to, like, if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, and this message is for you, and if not, it's not. But it does. It feels like your mind is one place, where it's like you're either not mentally in your current reality or whatever it is, and your body is in another place, but it feels like something that you are actively like, this is how you live your life. It's not like this is a phase of life that I'm going through. This is how you've lived your life, and you have bursts or moments of union, but they're not, I'm feeling like really hot in my heart. like nervous. I keep thinking back to that feeling, and my mind is like immediately just going to like weddings. I had this big Cinderella dress, like, oh, it's just ew. But like I just remember how that felt. Like it was like a, you know, like if you can imagine like the person you love the most, and like just like that kind of warm rushing heart feeling that's like in this general vicinity. That's what it's like. That's what I'm feeling right now. And it like it's like I'm getting anxious. But it feels like, hold on, because I keep like it's like all of this has led up to this one point where you are finally like coming into solidified union between your mind and your body. Crazy how my migraine is literally going away. Like it's not as intense as it was 10 minutes ago. There's also, with the Nine of Swords here, this card in particular always gives me like, you think you know everything vibes, where you might literally know more than other people. And because you're there mentally, I don't know if claircognizance, however you say it, is in one of your psychic gifts, or if it's beginning to be. Welcome to the team. But that's kind of what it's giving, is that like you literally know stuff and people are like, you think you know everything. And I was like, nope, but I do know that. And you end up being right. So it's like, you're like getting a song. I didn't want this power. Who's that? It's a woman. There's a woman and she's like saying like, I didn't want this power. I'm gonna look it up and put it in like the comments or something. She like repeats it. She's like, I didn't want this power. I didn't want this power. I'm thinking it's like R&B, pop, maybe hip hop. I keep thinking like Tiana Taylor or, oh wait, Doja Cat came to mind. I don't know who it is, but there's a song that I'm thinking about. And it's a woman. It's particular, like I think it's a Black woman that sings this. And she's like, I didn't want this power. I know I keep saying it, but like I'm thinking that like it's right there. It's right there. That and the song Been Like This. So ooh. Sorry. I feel like what's going on is that your mind has been in connection, because I mentioned Shakti, right? In connection to like the ether, which is feminine energy, the mystery, the mysterious, whatever it is, the guidance, the the intuition. And then your body has been very masculine. So what do I need to do? I need to be strong. I need to provide for myself. I need to be able to eat this and da 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 da. And you're coming into union within yourself, but very much so where like your thoughts and your actions are integrated. Beyonce. Beyonce. She says, I didn't want this power. I'm thinking about one by one, you hang high. How did you turn your heart to stone? It's talking about like the grief of losing the weak and powerless version of you, because with power comes responsibility, right? But it's like, I feel like your mind is expanding and that's why it hurts, right? But oh my God, this is like crazy channeled. But it feels like, It feels like you're grieving what it is, because it's like you didn't want to know as much as you did. Thinking of like cloning people and walking through the fire and Epstein files and da, 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 da. Like you didn't want to, you could have been okay without knowing all these things. But now that you know, there are certain things that you found out both collectively and internally that have risen you into this union with yourself. Because really, I keep visualizing it like this, but really it's like this, which would meet at like the solar plexus, which is the self, the sun, your inner sun. I also, there's a lot, like I keep getting like pregnancy vibes, sickness, like even now I'm like feeling like if you know, like there's like it's like air bubbles or something when you're about to get sick, kind of like they rise up. That's what I'm feeling now. But I don't think it's a child. I think you are birthing yourself. Happy New Year, by the way. And what you're doing is like a beautiful life integration where you're not trying to control your intuition. You're not trying to, like, if you do spiritual work, you're not trying to promote your work. You're just saying it is here. And I, like, for a fact, I know people will find it. Knowing the supports, doing the things physically that need to be done to maintain and care for yourself. For me personally, there's been kind of this energy where it's like I've been wanting to get into yoga for years. Suddenly, last week, I'm doing yoga every morning. I don't know how to do, I'm just doing yoga. It's just, my body just kind of, you know? Like seeing myself prepare meals, and they're less like rice and beans and more chicken and eggs and, you know, avocado and a quinoa. And I'm like, what is going on with my diet? Like your body is like in a mind of its own. But it now feels like it's being I feel like, okay, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this up. I feel like for quite a long time, your hermit mode was not you just being alone, but you being removed. Meaning that there must have been something, a point in your life, or most of your life, where you were a backseat driver to your life, where you were just kind of like, okay, well, like I have these intuitions and this and this and that, but I'm also just like a victim of circumstance. And now you're kind of taking control of your body, right? Which is really powerful when you look at like all these things where they're like talking about, you know, people having like soul control and all these different things, and Selena Gomez and isn't Selena Gomez and whatever it is, like that's kind of like you're doing what the world needs to do, which is taking back control. But the thing is, you didn't give up control. You were forced by ancestor spirit guides in like a loving way to go into kind of like autopilot, where like you went through things and you were still there, but you weren't there. You understand? So it's kind of like that, which is really interesting. Like I do a lot of solar plexus work. Most of my energy healing work revolves around getting you to know yourself. So hey Selena, if you wanna, yeah. But seriously, like that's kind of like, it's really interesting for me to be able to share this message, because that's what I do. I do energy healing work with people to get them back to themselves. But that's kind of what it feels like, is you've been on autopilot of sorts to then now to kind of like watch what's going on. And now you're very integrated where you're like, okay, I'm ready to take the wheel now. I'm no longer a victim of circumstance. I'm no longer da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like it literally felt like a sonic wave over me. Like, you know how like when they show it on TV and it's like a and it's like an invisible kind of that's what it felt like. It's like right into my face. I think at the end of the day, take what resonates. But there is a unification coming. If you've been feeling union energy, if you've been feeling like union, whether it's external, whatever it is, I think it's internal. And if you've been feeling like baby pregnancy things, I think it is the energy, but not the embodiment that you're thinking. You are birthing yourself because you literally haven't been there. So you've got to come out. You've literally got to yourself or whatever has been, you know, operating you. No fear, no shame. You understand? Like, this is something that was divinely guided for you. But it is kind of like, to birth yourself, like you have to release, you know, like you have to let go of what was operating you. Where it is like pregnancy is a very great analogy for this, where it's like, you know, pregnancy tells you what you can do and you can't do and what foods you need to eat. Like that's very much the energy that's giving in here, is like you were very much controlled by something else. It wasn't negative like some other people might be, but it was something where it's like you can empathize with that if you do energy healing work or any kind of yoga or whatever it is. I think it's important for you to recognize that, because then you can empathize with people that might need that experience. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe I get Selena, you get Jim Carrey. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's kind of the energy, is like, you had to go through this for a reason. You had to not be in control of your body for a reason. And it ended up benefiting you, but it also is like uncomfortable. I didn't want this power. Yeah. Because I'm thinking back to Tyrant, and she's talking about, she's like, I'm in control, okay? But I also grieve the times that I wasn't. I miss being ignorant. I miss not having this power. Much love. Bye.